in here doing wallpaper for my wife. Fun, fun, fun. Got the old e-pads on out here, just cutting freaking big pieces of wallpaper. But anyway, talk for today is going to be about Best Buy. So I went to Best Buy today, and man, holy hell, what a sad state that place is in. Like, I remember going to Best Buy and just being like blown away by the excitement of all that was going on at Best Buy, and just like all the the CDs you could look through, the DVDs, I mean, the video games, the big televisions, and it was just like such a freaking experience. And I went there today, and it was so depressing. Like, I was, I was just like, oh my gosh, and it was so depressing. It like set the entire tone, I think, for the rest of my day. My whole day was just like, meh. It was bad, So anyway, point is, I forgot my earbuds, so I had to go to Best Buy to go buy some earbuds, and I went there, and every time I go there, it's a shit show. Like, I knew it was going to be, and my wife always makes fun of me because she knows that it's just a terrible experience going into that place. And I get in there, and yes, sure enough, you're greeted by, basically by a convict, pretty much, like not a nice, greeter of any kind. You get in there and looking for earbuds, and everything is locked up. Like, there's nothing. You can't grab anything. Like, you can't just grab something and go to the register and pay for it. There, like, everything, there's nothing. Like, you have to have somebody there to open things, and then they take it up to the register, and then we want to open it up for you and let you take the register. It's like, what in the hell is going on? It's like everything is in jail today. And I know there's, like, you hear about this kind of stuff, and I know that it happens, and I'm not, whatever. But it was just really, like, sad. I was really depressed. Like, Best Buy is kind of like almost like a thing like of my child. It's almost like what's the video store? Blockbuster Video. You guys remember Blockbuster Video? Like, that place was just like, going in there for the first time was just like, it was wild, And Best Buy was kind of a version of that. And man, it's rough. It's really rough, So anyway, that's what we're talking about today. I'm talking a little bit about retail, because we sell retail product, and granted, we sell higher end product, but retail nonetheless. And I'll talk a little bit about how we approach selling people things, and how we approach like frictionless transactions, and how the experience that I had at Best Buy today, and just like every facet of the experience was not good. It was very mid. I was not happy with what happened at Best Buy, and so that's what I'm talking about today. So anyway, my name is Eric. Welcome to another Fun at Chrome here in St. Louis, Missouri, and clearly I'm at home today. So we have a small furniture company here in St. Louis. We do 500-ish pieces a year. Do a small 7-figure income, and it's it's middle class living, and we enjoy employing people. We enjoy seeing customers get our products, and I approach customer service and my customers very differently than a company like Best Buy. So that's where I'm coming from as a business owner, and as someone who again has to sell a product, has to convince someone to give me their dollars, and tries to give people a really good experience when they buy stuff from us. So that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, talk for today is, what the fuck happened to Best Buy? What happened to that place? It was brutal, guys. Absolutely brutal. Going in there, there's me and this other guy, and we're waiting to get earbuds, like freaking earbuds, and everything is locked up. Like, what the hell happened? Why is everything locked up? If you guys are in the stream, hit the like button, add the discussion. Tell me about your experience with a place like Best Buy or any of these other retail stores. Are they all like this? Because I was kind of shocked. But everything's locked up. Like, there's a bunch of us just sitting here waiting to get earbuds, and the person that comes and helps you basically is like, what do you want? Oh, who all you here needs stuff? It's just not a fun experience, to be quite honest. It wasn't good, So they get us our earbuds, and then of course they take all this stuff up to the register. Well, you've got a dozen people in line, and then you've got one person kind of helping people check out, right? And every person that's checking out, nobody in line has anything. No one's holding anything, because you can't take anything with you when you go to a store today. You basically have to have some customer service person, I guess, take it up to the register, and that's a horrible way to shop. Like, if this is how it goes, man, retail is in deep trouble. So I don't know if it's like that with everything. So, hey, Adriana, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Hit the like button, add the discussion. But yeah, it was rough. And then when you go in there, like, every person in line feels a different way about being in line. Like, they didn't cause a bunch of this. I had a gal behind me who's pissing and moaning about there not being any help, and it's like, well, hell, the store's practically broke. I mean, everything's locked up. There's hardly anybody in this store. I don't know what you do, so it's kind of rough, and then you got the people in front of me, they're bitching about, the lack of help, and it's like, I'm just thinking like, you people did all this stuff, you stole everything, and nobody wants to come to these places anymore because all you guys do is take shit, and it takes forever to go inside and get one thing, like this is something that I didn't grow up with. I don't know if y'all grew up with this, but I didn't grow up with this notion of everything being locked up. Like, it's really weird, and I get that people are buying on Amazon now and other, Walmart.com and all kinds of eBay, all these kind of other places, and that's cool and all. But you shouldn't have to go into a retail place and then everything's locked up. Like I've even heard that if you go into Walmart now, in certain areas they lock up steaks, they lock up like fish. Is that what it's really coming down to? Like, everyone's just gonna lock up all their stuff because society can't act like civilized people, and if we got a problem with all this theft, right, and all these people taking things to where they have to lock everything up, at what point are we gonna not fight back, but at what point are we gonna kind of unleash the law-abiding citizen to say, hey, no more of this, like, we're not gonna let you just take stuff, because these people know who's taking things, at what point does a company say, you know what, like, we need security guards, which is how it was when I grew up. If you tried to take something, you'd get a security guard coming over to you before you ever walked out the door. But for some reason, I guess we can't do that today. And maybe the stuff that people are stealing is so cheap because it's all made overseas that the company thinks it's easier to just let the stuff get stolen and not do anything. That way they don't have to worry about litigation, I guess. What's that say about the stuff that these places sell? If your product isn't important enough to you, you can just let a whole bunch of it be stolen. Like, what do you really sell to people? And so it's just weird. I know it might be a little different for me because I make a physical product. Like, we make furniture. Furniture takes a long time, But the other thing that I think about is, like, what about the founder of Best Buy? Like, what would he think, or she, or whoever the hell founded that company? What would they think about the inside of their store, the shopper's experience? Like, do they have any kind of a thought on this? Because if this was my store or my business, like, I'd be pissed. If the customers came into my place and they were just pissed off and whining and unhappy with the experience, like, man, I wouldn't want to do that if my name was on that business. But Best Buy, it's like they don't care. And I don't know the story of Best Buy, but I'm assuming that the people that founded that company no longer have anything to do with it, and it's all ran by MBAs, people with master's degrees, people that just literally don't give a shit about many things other than the bottom line, which is fine, whatever. Like, you do what you want to do, but like, we could never run our business that way. And if I was going to pass my business down from generation to generation, I would be furious if shoppers came into my store and had an experience like that. Had to go into like just a tired-looking store with unpleasant employees, products that are all locked up, products that are not even on the shelves. Like, you have no idea how many of these shelves are literally empty. And it just blows my mind. Like, how can a business operate this way? So I'll continue talking here. We'll go for a few comments real quick. And this stuff just really bothers me. It's as an American, as someone who grew up at a place where there was an abundance of things on the shelf, there are all kinds of cool products. You go into a Best Buy, you'd play the video games. You guys remember that? Like, they'd have the new Super Nintendo systems and the PlayStations, and they'd have them on the big ass televisions, with the sound systems and all that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of that is gone. And I don't think that's good. Like, it kind of really bothers me. And I know there's changes in the way people shop, but I think there's still, like, you need things. I would imagine all kinds of people go into these stores. You need stuff. You don't always want to order stuff on Amazon. And how the hell are you going to get away from a monopolistic company like Amazon if there's nothing else? There's no other places to shop. Like, how are these companies supposed to compete? So yeah, I'll quit ranting. Let's go to comments real quick, and we'll talk some more about this. Okay, I said hi to Adriana. Good that you're here. If you guys are in the discussion, hit the like button. Add to the discussion. It really helps kind of kick it around to other people and get a good discussion going today. Okay, we got Control Delete. All right, see, customer is always right. Man, no, they are not, dude. Like, that's we'll talk about that. That's a great point. Okay. Well, why would you run a business if it wasn't for survival? People don't run businesses for survival, man. Like, that's not why we get into business. And none of us get into business for survival. Like, we get into business because we want to solve a problem, or in my case, because I couldn't afford something, so I opted to start building it because it was cheaper to build it than it was to buy it. So a lot of people start businesses for all kinds of reasons, but I don't think anybody starts a business just for survival, and elaborate on that if you would. I'm curious what you mean by that. I think that people might take jobs they don't like for survival, but to start a company, no. Like starting a business is all passion. Like because there's not a lot of money in it. There's a hopes that there will be at some point, but it's not it's not a big money making endeavor in the beginning. It takes a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of empty paychecks, and so on and so forth. So anyway, okay, so we got Tamara. Was it Tarsia? Tarsia, good to see you. Okay, yeah, glad you're here. Hello, good to get everyone's in the chat today. Okay, Control Delete. What do you got here? So you got to take a breath as I can improve your life's knowledge. Okay, well, that's fantastic, man. Like, let's hear it. I'm all out to have a conversation today. Let's see. Are you in the 80s? No, I was born in 79, and man, I am a product of the 80s. Holy smokes. Like, I'm still convinced, like, the 80s and the 90s were, like, the last really good generations. Like, holy hell. We had, the Goonies, and we had Aliens. I mean, the whole movie culture thing that blew up the action stars of science fiction. I mean, all that stuff. Then you had all the Super Nintendo systems, the Game Boys, the frickin' PlayStations. Like, all that stuff came out of that generation. Car culture, like the big build-up in car culture was really cool. A lot of cool things, And again, going to Best Buy, in the 2000s, Best Buy was a big thing, and frickin' Blockbuster Video was massive. Like, I remember going and doing that and just thinking, like, this is amazing. And it's not that way anymore, And it's, man, what a frickin' shame, It's like such a waste. Like, I don't understand why people would go into one of these places just to steal stuff. Like I was in, this will blow your guys' mind. I was in Home Depot the other day, and they started locking up things at Home Depot, like copper wire and stuff like that. And we're like, why are you guys locking up all this stuff? They said they had $300,000 worth of copper wire stolen last year. So they got to lock all this stuff up. Like, where is this mentality coming from? Like, I don't get it, guys. Like, I can't wrap my head around. Like, is it like everybody out to survive? Is that what it is? Like, I find it hard to believe, especially with as many jobs as there are, that people are doing this stuff to survive. We got a lot of people that don't care about their culture, or they don't care about their community. They don't care about, I don't know what it is. Guys, let me know. So we'll keep going. Okay. Let's see here. Who's this? Todd Fan 93. Good to see you. Yes, I'm a product of the 80s. Like I said, see, this is false. Okay, well, tell me what's false. Let's bat it back and forth. Okay, at the start, you said all the PS5s and TVs gone. So I don't know if the PS5s were gone, and I don't know if all the TVs were gone. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is a lot of that stuff is missing, or you're not seeing as much of it as you used to. It used to be like everything's well lit. You'd have the sound systems booming. You'd have the movies playing on the televisions, and it was like an experience when you go in there. And it's not like that anymore. It's kind of sad. It almost looks like people went in there and smoked a bunch of cigarettes for like 10 years. It has that brown, yellowish kind of hue to it. Like those old smoker houses. And it was sad. It was really sad. All the empty shelves. Like that's not good. That's not a good way to get people to come into your store, right? It's not a way to be inviting or to get people to really, enjoy what it is that they're coming in there to do, I guess. So, okay, let's see. Going a few more stuff. Let's see. I'm retired. I work for free on projects I like. Never felt richer. I'm retired. I work for free on projects I like. Never felt richer. Yeah, and that's cool, man. That's fantastic, and honestly, that's kind of how, like, we start. Well, I shouldn't say we, but I started making furniture. My wife started painting furniture. It was like we just wanted something that wasn't available, or we couldn't afford it. We started working on it, and we didn't really have to pay anyone to do it. We just kind of tinkered around and figured it out after work, and a business is born. And yeah, being retired, just be able to kind of work on whatever you want to work on, it sounds pretty awesome to me. I hope I could do that, here in maybe 15 years. Yeah, good on you, man. That's fantastic. So I'm curious, what are you working on now? That's what's your latest project? Okay, Dax Cook. Is it Cook? Yeah, Dax Cook. So please, I don't know what that means. Okay, so tell me, why did Ronald Reagan remove gold from fiat currency? So tell me, why did Ronald Reagan remove gold from fiat currency? I don't think it was Ronald Reagan that did that. I mean, you're talking about when we took us off the gold standard, because that would have been Nixon. And I don't know exactly what it is that you're saying there. But yeah, when we got taken off of the gold standard, that was essentially because we needed a way to keep the economy moving and have less ups and less downs. And when you can have something that's not tied to a physical thing, you can manipulate it, which is, I mean, whatever, you guys do whatever you want. But when you can manipulate something like that, you can either print more of it, you can buy bonds, you can do all kinds of things that you can't do with something like gold. You know, it's a little harder to it's a little bit harder to add money to the money supply when it's based on something that is very difficult to add, which is gold. You know, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a currency expert. I'm not a monetary expert by any means, but I know enough about the economy to kind of like I see what's going on. Like I think we all kind of see what's going on. So you know, I keep elaborating there. Control Delete. We'll keep batting it back and forth. Static Mac. Let's see here. Oh, fantastic. Hey, love your comments there, Static. Just hit the like button and I can keep going, adding to the discussion. Okay, Todd Fan 93. See, it's your time to save the Titanic near the 90s. I love the movie Titanic. It's one of my favorite movies. It's freaking awesome. I remember I went to the theater twice to watch that movie. It was really good. Like those days were amazing. Like holy hell. Like what do you guys want to do? Like I remember I worked at a movie theater when the movie Good Will Hunting came out, and let's see what was the other one? Deep Rising came out. I remember that was a big one. Sphere, the movie Sphere. That was freaking awesome. Like I think I was like 18 years old. But God, what a freaking great time. Okay. More comments. You know, Todd Fan, what movies do you like? Are you a Titanic fan? Is that kind of what's going on there? I'm kind of curious. Okay, Bal, great name, man. See, would life be over if I took your glasses? Life would be over if you took my glasses, but fortunately, I have 2 backup pairs, right? So always, I'm a Boy Scout, man. You gotta have something in reserve. Okay, let's see. I don't know what Pooskins are, but hey, right on. Okay, Danny MD, I'm 39 and I work on boats. That is freaking awesome, dude. Like, you need to add to this discussion. Okay, what kind of boats do you work on? Like, so I've been looking at yachts for 3 years, and I have this dream that I live here in St. Louis, and we live right on the Mississippi River, and I just have this idea that I want to get like a boat, you know, like maybe a 40, 50 footer from like the, you know, like 70s or 80s, like something that I could reasonably afford that wouldn't be expensive. Because I own a furniture company, like I would love to go through and redo the inside of that boat, you know, put it at my shop and just put it up on, you know, blocks or whatever, and just redo the inside of that thing, you know, sand and paint the outside of it, you know, with some gel coat and just get that thing back on the water. I would love to do that. So tell me what that's like. What are you working on? What kind of boats you work on? Where are you located at? So I grew up in Oregon. We worked on a lot of boats there. I lived in Savannah for a long time. A lot of boats there. And now that I'm here in St. Louis, or just outside of St. Louis, we got right on the Mississippi River. We got a lot of boats, you know. Nothing like lake culture. River culture is a little bit different, but ocean culture is where it's at, man. Salt life is awesome. So, you know, sorry guys, a little bit of a rant there. So, yeah, I appreciate everyone in the discussion. Hit the like button, guys. Let's talk a little bit more. I guess we're kind of going down nostalgia road here tonight a little bit with, Best Buy stat. I even looked at the stock price on Best Buy, and it was their stock price right now is basically where it's at before COVID hit, or excuse me, right after COVID hit. It just got dropped. They had another big drop, of course, when the tariff thing hit. But that company's kind of in trouble. Like I don't know what they're gonna do, but I mean, maybe they'll make it. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so we got Sonic.ex, Fleetway. Okay, clearly you're a computer guy. Okay, I like to subscribe to you. Great, I appreciate it. Sonic, I hope you like woodworking, you like small business, painting furniture, painting whatever. That's kind of what we talk about today. We just got to pick a topic, and we just, you know, it depends on what I'm listening to. I'll just talk about it. We'll kind of relate it to business a little bit, and I just answer questions and shoot the breeze with people because it's, you know, it's kind of fun. It's like taking a break. I've been here doing wallpaper. You guys want to see this? This is a wallpaper we're putting in this room. Real pretty, huh? Looks like kind of almost like Christmassy or something, but my wife likes it. She thinks it's going to look amazing, and she's got way better taste than I do. Okay, see, delete, control delete. Okay, is manipulation good? I don't think manipulation is good. You know, and since you were talking about currency before that, or you talking about gold specifically, when you manipulate, I mean, anything, you basically build bubbles, you know, which is kind of, I think, what's going on right now. I think we built up a lot of bubbles within our economy, and they're probably getting ready to burst in many ways because you can only manipulate for so long. Eventually, reality kicks back in, you know, in terms of whether it's interest rates or it's debt limits or it's, you know, devaluing of your currency. You know, I think the dollar's at an 11-year low right now. You know, so yeah, manipulation is not good. I mean, you gotta live within your means. You gotta be honest with people, and you got to the value of things need to reflect what they're really worth. You know, and I did a talk yesterday about how value is dead, and it's true. like value is in deep trouble. We got too many large corporations and too many people just selling anybody anything, and nobody cares. Like the subscription things are kind of garbage. I talked about how I think it's the FTC was trying to pass a rule called the click and cancel rule, which basically meant that if you built an app, you had to basically make cancellation a one-click operation. So in case you guys didn't notice that when you try and cancel a lot of apps, it's very difficult to do it. And specifically, the worst one is Amazon. They're the worst offender. Netflix isn't good either, but Amazon is the worst, guys. They make it so difficult to cancel anything. Try like subscribing to something like whatever, like pencils or something, and then try and remove the subscription. It's very difficult to remove the subscription, even though you can add the subscription in one click, like with any product. And they do this with a lot of things, like all of the movies that you guys buy on Amazon, all of the music that you buy on Amazon that's digital. If you cancel any of those services, you no longer have access to that stuff, even though you paid full price for it. It's something that they got to fix, and they were trying to fix it, and apparently the rule got canceled. It's not going to happen, which is kind of bullshit if you ask me. But you got to have fairness, and a lot of these companies are really taking advantage of people. But anyway, we'll keep going. There's more comments. Okay, see, Rian Van Wyck, I guess kind of name. Cool, man. South Africa, right on. Wow, South Africa, cool, man. That's a hell of a journey. So we obviously got a very famous South African here, Dave Matthews, and Elon Musk. But there's that's an interesting place. I mean, we're in America. We don't know a ton of history about South America, at least I don't. But we know kind of the popular things. And yeah, glad you're in the conversation, and talk to us about what you got going on in South Africa. Okay, let's see, we got controlled leads back in. Okay, they can keep the poor permanently poor and the rich permanently rich when they remove the gold standard. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not a currency expert. I personally don't believe that anyone can keep anyone down. I'm just not one of those people. Never graduated high school. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't learn the way that you're supposed to. And I did okay. I'm an idiot. Grew up in the country bumpkin, and somehow figured it out, just basically by showing up on time and getting really good at one thing, which is building furniture. So anybody can do that. And it doesn't have to be building furniture. It can be, doing whatever. Hell, even being like a line cook or something like that. If you start at one of these jobs that people tend to denigrate or think that it's only for like illegal immigrants and stuff like that, you're a really good line cook, man, or you're really good at working in a restaurant. I believe you can work your way up in those places, and I believe you can earn a reasonable wage and learn a skill that will allow you to then run a restaurant yourself. And I believe anyone can do that, and I don't know that, again, why everyone thinks that they're always being held down and there's no opportunity for anyone, and the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not, and I think when you have money, it's a lot easier to keep it than not having money and getting it. I think that that's 100% true. But if you don't have any hope and you don't have any ambition, then what's the point? Like you gotta have something to work towards, and that's one of the reasons I do these streams. Like just to let people know, like there are people out here who don't have education. We didn't, take the path. We didn't do the office jobs. We didn't do any of that shit. We just worked really hard, and now we got a little something to show for it. Not a big business, but it's a little business, and it's a good business. If you guys go on the resplendentcrow.com, you'll see all the furniture we sell. And that's me and my wife. We put that business together. We built the website. We figured out how to use Shopify, and we figured out how to, make videos and take really good pictures. We figured out how to hire people, how to fire people. We figured out, when people are going to fuck us over. You figure out all this stuff. We've been sued. You just learn this stuff over the years, and it doesn't mean you're going to get rich. It doesn't mean you have some big successful company and you're going to be driving Lambos and stuff. But it's just another way to make money, guys. It's like working for anybody else. It's just you have to get up every day and do the work. You have to come up with ways to, convince people to give you their money. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and it's hard for people to learn new skills and do things that they're uncomfortable with. A lot of people just want to do the same thing day in and day out, and that's cool. We need those kind of people too. But anyway, you can do it. That's why we do the streams. Or I should say hi. Okay, let's see. We got, what is this? Leighton Kavanaugh, maybe? Okay. Let's see, can I have Mata in my birthday, please? I don't know what Mata is, but I'm glad it's your birthday. It's fantastic. What is today, the 11th? The 11th of July? Yeah, happy birthday, and all that good stuff, and hope you have a great day, and it's going to be It's a good day. It's nice here in St. Louis. You know, it's hot and very hot, so it's probably hot everywhere. But anyway, really nice. And yeah, we're just here making videos. I'm doing wallpaper. My wife's doing this. She's got this cleaning solution. So if you got weeds, you take some vinegar, mix it with some salt and a little bit of Dawn, put it in a sprayer and spray that. And those weeds are dead in 3 hours. I mean, they're as yellow and dead as you can possibly imagine. I thought it was bullshit, but it really works. So anyway, happy birthday. Let's see, ToddFan93. Let's see here. Okay, well, we saw that comment. Let's see, do you like cheese? Love cheese. Fantastic. I'm a cheese freak. In fact, I'm from Oregon, which is where Tillamook cheese is. It's in Bandon, Oregon. And yeah, I've been shouted out by Tillamook because I talk about their cheese all the time. They send me coupons and all kinds of cool shit. But yeah, I love cheese. I'm a big fan. But yes, Tillamook cheese, best cheese in the world. Everyone says Wisconsin, but no, it's Oregon. So there you go. Let's see, delete all. Let's see, will the dollar collapse? No, the dollar will not collapse. So, and the thing that, again, I'm an idiot. Take this with a grain of salt. But the thing that people don't understand or might miss about the dollar is the dollar is tied to oil. And, you know, it's called the petrodollar, which people, you know a little bit about. But here's the thing. So Saudi Arabia had no oil, way to extract oil forever, you know. And then basically the people that founded Standard Oil, right, the Rockefeller people, they came in and they showed these guys how to extract oil and realized these guys have the largest reserves at that time in the world. And when they did that, they did it and they just gave these guys the technology with the agreement that they would sell their oil in dollars, right? Which meant that everybody in the world that wanted to trade on Saudi oil, or anyone in OPEC now, has to use dollars to buy it, right? So that's one of the reasons that we're the world reserve currency and we can do all kinds of crazy things with the way that we print money here. I mean, we can print money forever because we're the reserve currency. People will always want to buy our bonds because we're the most stable country on earth. You know, so the dollar's not going to collapse. You know, it's down. I think it's down 11% right now, but it'll come back up. Like I said, I think this is the first month in 20 years that we've had a we've had a budget surplus. That was just announced today, so that's a good sign. You know, so that means that the economy and the way that we spend money here in America is at least moving in the right direction. We'll see what happens next month. But anyway, that's a little bit off topic, guys. So all right, Danny MD. Danny, okay, 70s, 80 boats are best. See, the glass fiber is super strong. I work on bigger projects like wooden school ships and alike. Would never get a wooden ship myself. That is freaking cool, dude. I envy you. I think that would be a lot of fun to work on boats. There was a company in Savannah, Georgia called, I think it was called Palmer Johnson. And I really wanted to work for this company because they used a lot of honeycomb sandwich panels in their boats, you know, which are these really lightweight panels that you'd veneer, you know, make really nice. So they use a lot of that stuff, which I did all the time because I worked on jets. I worked on private jets, commercial jets, military jets, just like everything. And I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do that. I really wanted to do that job, but it never happened. I was stuck in aviation forever, and now I do furniture, regular furniture. So that's really cool, dude. It sounds like an amazing job, and that's the thing, guys. Like, you can do really cool jobs, like this idea that everybody has to work in an office, or, you know, you gotta, again, work in a restaurant, or you gotta, you know, work at this fucking Best Buy place that I was at today. Like, you gotta do one of these jobs where all these people clearly hate their lives, like, and maybe not their lives, but they definitely hate their jobs. You don't have to do that. You can do what Danny does here, you know, working on boats, you know. And I don't know, Danny, how you got into that, you know, but my guess is that you probably started off young and got into that trade somehow, or maybe you knew somebody that did that and you were good buddies with them and you showed good character, and then, you know, they recommended you for a job, something like that. You know, I'm always telling people you have to start young. Like, it's really important. And if you're older, like you're in your 30s or 40s, and you really do want to change careers, like, you got to be willing to go to a company like mine, or any kind of a furniture company, or like what Danny does, you know, working on boats. You got to be willing to go there and say, man, I will work for nothing. Like, I just want to be here. I just want to do this. You got to really have some passion, especially if you're older. If you're younger, man, I'll take a young person that just is mildly interested, you know. But if you're older, you know, you really gotta show some true desire and character and all these kind of things to get a job. But man, if you're a younger person, holy hell, guys, like, I cannot tell you enough. If you're in your 20s, you're in your mid 20s, you hate your job right now, if you can, like, move home. Move home, live with your parents, live with your grandma, live with your sister, whoever you got to live with to get your costs down enough to where you can go work for somebody for minimum wage. You need to go volunteer, work for free if you have to. But the thing that people want to see is they want to see some fucking light in your eyes, guys. They want to see stars, like this is what you really want to do, and you're excited about it, and if you could do that, man, you'll do something like what Danny does here. You do something like what I do. Like I'm 45 years old. I've been doing the same thing for 25 years, and I've never had a day where I'm just like, I don't feel like woodworking. This isn't the thing for me. Like, it's just never happened, So you can have these kind of jobs, guys. You don't have to figure it out right off the bat. You don't have to go to school and follow, the path. Like, you can be an idiot and you can bounce around a little bit, but as long as you kind of stick to something and you figure it out as early as possible, you're golden, guys. You'll always make good money. Employers will always pay people that are good employees. They'll pay them whatever they got to keep them, and I always hear people tell me, oh, my employer doesn't like me, or oh, this so-and-so doesn't like me. They're trying to get rid of me, or oh, there's always some excuse, and I'm here to tell you guys that as an employer, 8 years at this point, like, I don't think that way. I don't know anyone that thinks that way. But what we do say, and when I talk to other bosses, is we always have the same stories, like, oh, this fucking guy doesn't want to show up, or this guy, clearly destroyed this thing or wrecked it or did a poor job and didn't say anything to anyone. This person is taking food, or this person likes to show up later. This person can't get off their phone. Like, we see all that stuff, and every employer does. They're not dumb. But if you're that person that does a good job, that, clearly wants to do what it is that they're doing, show up on time, be a good example, play well with others, I mean, it really isn't that hard. I don't think, I could be way wrong. So anyway, but I'll keep going on the comments. Sorry, guys, I just tend to go off here. Okay, we got, see, who's this Grace Set. Great name. I love that name. Okay, let's see, what's life about, my man? I just told you guys, what life is about is working. Life is about working hard, getting something for working hard, and making other people's lives better, right? And what I mean by that is, if you want to make money, well, you got to solve somebody's problem, and guess what? It feels really good to solve someone's problem. And then when you get in your Corvette or whatever it is you're driving to go home because you solved somebody's problems, they gave you some money for it, that feels pretty good. When you get to go home and you got some nice house, beautiful yard, your kids, wife, husband, whatever, that feels really good, and you do that by solving other people's problems, man. And that's what life's about. When you get those, get your employees. Your employees are happy. They come into work super happy. You see them smiling, good time playing some music, having a good time making some money. That's what life's about. At least if you ask me. So if that's what I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but that's what life's about for me. That and maybe having a beer at night. It's nice. Okay, more comments. See, so we got Kevin on here again. Stop yapping. Well, that's what I'm here to do. So yap with me. What you got? Tell me something about yourself. Okay, we got, see, Clayton Fernandez in here. Clayton Fernandez. Which wood is best for furniture? Which has less issues, dents, etc.? Well, that's not really a good way to ask the question, because everyone will say, well, what are you building, right? So let me tell you what I do, and then you can kind of judge from there. So what we do, if you go on theSplendidCar.com, you'll see all the furniture that we make. But since we paint furniture, we can get away with using less aesthetically pleasing woods, right? Like, everyone knows walnut and cherry and maple, and these are kind of your normal kind of domestic woods, but then there's your exotic woods, your Mozambiques and your zebra woods and your babingas and your ipe and all these kind of woods, wingy, whinge, whatever they call it. So we don't have to use much of that, right? So what I do, because we paint we paint most things, we use a lot of cherry wood. So we use a lot of cherry wood and we use a lot of poplar wood. Now, poplar wood, appearance-wise, is ugly. Ugh. Poplar wood's not good looking. Some of your finest furniture that's ever been crafted is made of cherry wood. It's really nice. Almost all fine furniture made from maybe 1900s up to, hell, today, uses poplar for the guts. So the outside of the furniture is generally going to be made from different wood than the inside of the furniture. And so you want to use different kinds of things. So we generally use poplar for the inside of our furniture, and we use poplar for the outside depending on what we're making. But most of the time we like to use cherry wood. We'll use plywoods for big surfaces. We use a lot of hardwoods, though. We really do. Most of our tops are going to be plywood. that is laminated, right? So laminate is actually one of the best surfaces for painting. It takes it really well, and it looks glossy smooth. And because we do high gloss lacquered furniture, it just makes a really nice finish. Now, if you're doing a stain grade piece of furniture, and let's say you're making that stain grade piece of furniture out of walnut, right? Walnut's real popular. Walnut machines really well. Like walnut is one of these woods, and the same thing with cherry wood. Cherry wood and walnut wood, they machine really well, meaning when you run them through a saw, they don't do a ton of twisting and bowing and crooking and all these kind of things. They don't do a lot of tear out when you're running a router along there. They're pretty easy to work with. Other woods are horrible to work with, like mahogany, like Danny here working on boats. Like I don't like working with mahogany. Mahogany is okay, but I find mahogany to be kind of stringy, and when you cut big pieces on the saw, it just freaking goes all over. Same thing with maple. Maple, very hard wood, but man, the minute you cut it on a saw, it just freaking goes all over the place. So the trick to cutting maple, in my opinion, is you half cut it on one side, you half cut it on the other side, and you run it through a bandsaw, stays straight, and then you can run it through your planer. That's what we used to do when we were working with a lot of maple wood. But to your point, so about making furniture, if you're going to make it out of walnut, so you want to make the exterior out of all kinds of walnuts, veneers, and hardwoods, right? But the trick to doing that is you need to make sure that your woods are similar in color, right, in tone. You're not going to get them perfect, and people on the internet make way too much of a thing about having their grains. They're perfect. This color is amazing. Truth is that we all tone wood. That's the trick to doing anything that's stain grade is you just tone it. Which is a whole different discussion. You want to know about toning, you guys put it in the comments. I'll talk about that because I'm doing it next week. But anyway, so walnut's great, but the inside of my walnut furniture, I make with poplar wood. Even if it's stained, there's just no point in using anything else. You can use walnut, but walnut's $14 a board foot. Poplar's about $3 and 12 cents a board foot, significantly cheaper. You just stain it dark and it looks great, So that's kind of what we do in those kind of situations. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, the wood is, it takes years to understand how wood works, and it's all, it works in all different ways. So anyway, I don't want to go off too much of a tangent there. Okay, I hope that answers your question though, Clayton. All right, Danny MD, Leighton, you can skip if you're bored. Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. But we get people on here. It was funny when I first started doing these talks. Like I've been doing these talks for, God, probably 4, 5, 6 months, something like that. And you would get people on here all the time. It's just nothing but, look at my boater, and I'm selling blah 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 blah. And it was just full of people with just obnoxious comments. And what I've learned is that the more you do this stuff, you get a lot less of that stuff, which is kind of nice. You get more people in here that want to talk about stuff, whatever it might be. And maybe it's not always on topic, but it's it's good for other people. Other people interact with them, and it's kind of fun, So it's a good way to meet people and see what people are doing. And like I said, I just want to explain to people when I do these talks that, like, normal person, man, like I don't do anything special. Like I said, you can go to resplendentcrow.com, look at the furniture we make. We're not trying to sell you anything other than furniture. And you go to modernwoodrunner.com. It's something that we're working on, but it's got, some drawings, and there's a lot of parts. Like I sell a lot of faux bamboo parts. If you ever want to learn to make faux bamboo furniture, which is how we started this company, we sell a lot of the parts there. If people want to try and make it themselves, it's kind of cool. But it's like I said, nothing special. There's no courses or signups or anything like that. It's just stuff that we do. So that's kind of all it is. Okay. Travel addict, man. I'm curious, where have you been? Where's the best place you've been? Have you seen UFO? No UFOs. I've been looking too. You got to see this view I have out here. It is amazing. Nothing but sky, and I have yet to see a UFO. Okay, let's see here. Danny McD. I'm from Denmark. Okay, well, I guess you probably got some different woods over there. But I would imagine it means that you're in boats. You probably work with a lot of mahogany and a lot of teak. I don't know what other woods. I guess white oak. I think I've read that white oak or like English oak is the oak to use in boats, whereas red oak is complete shit for being in water, But I don't know that much about it. You would probably be the expert. So that's cool, man. I'm glad that we got people in. So we got people in here from South Africa. We got people in here from Denmark. I was supposed to do a race in your region here. God, what was it? It would have been like 5 or 6 years ago. It was a Spartan race over there, what they call an ultra beast. It was a 24-hour endurance race. It was a pretty epic freaking race that I wanted to do out there, but it didn't happen. So, okay, let's see here. See, Clayton Fernandez, do you know GOA? Have you heard of the place? No, I haven't. You're going to have to explain to me what that is. I'm not sure what that is. Sounds like some kind of diamond, that diamond company. Okay, GOA India. So Goa, India. So yeah, so is that a place in India? I'm kind of curious. So my wife's from India, so it's I've never heard of it though. So, but I don't know India as well as I know obviously America. So let's see what else we got in here. Let's see, Danny MD, the place where you just said hi and dance. Get high and dance. Yeah, I guess. Okay, let's see, Gilbert Sauras. Gilbert, good to see you guys. Hit the like button, add the discussion, and we'll keep on chatting. Okay, see, Gilbert Sauras. See, how to hire the right mindset. Oh man, that's tricky. So let's talk about that for a second. That's kind of an interesting discussion. I mean, hell, me and my wife were just kind of talking about that earlier today. So hiring people is really tough, because at the end of the day, the only person that you can really count on is yourself. But when you try and grow a company, right, you get out of your garage and then you need to move in a bigger space. You need to employ people in order to pay the bills. And it's very hard to pay for large spaces and insurance and, whatever, all the shit that goes in running a company by yourself. So honestly, I've probably hired at least 50 people, and I've probably fired damn near 50 of them. Like, it's really hard to hire people. I've rehired people to give them second chances. I've tried hiring people that really were in bad situations, like young people, and try and get them going on the right track. That didn't work out. The best people that I hired, I'll tell you guys, okay, here you go. So the best furniture maker I ever hired was a refugee from Syria. So this guy, and I mean, you guys have heard this if you heard me talk at any of these streams. I've talked about this a couple times. So this guy, he was in Syria. And Syria's, man, you talk about a messed up place. But this guy, he escaped to Germany. He spent a couple years in Germany as a refugee there, and made it over here to America, and got his basically his green card, hang out here, and became an American citizen a year or two ago. So he's a full-blown American now. Well, anyway, this guy, his wife walked in one day into my shop, and she's like, her English was okay. But she's like, oh, my husband, he's a really good furniture maker. You need to hire him. And it's like, bitch, who are you? Like, I don't know who you are. And anyway, she showed me some of his work. Well, over in Syria, in that part of the world, their front doors are a big deal, So they spend a lot of money on these front doors. It almost says something about you. It's kind of like we spend big bucks on kitchens and things like that here. Like the front door is a big deal there, So anyway, he was one of these guys who like carve all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he was a really good carver, So I said, yeah, I'll hire the guy, like whatever, he got some skills, and we'll try it out for a week. And if he likes it, great. And if not, then we'll send him packing, Anyway, hired that guy. He was with me for like 3 or 4 years, and fantastic furniture maker. I taught him how to make things the way that I make them, and then he, took some of his skills and showed me some things, and that was awesome. That guy was a freaking amazing employee, and he works to me this day part time, and it's fantastic, But there was nothing about that guy that was offensive in any way. He didn't have any like bad habits per se. He was kind of quiet. There was nothing that said this is a great hire, and there was nothing that said this was a bad hire, So I don't know if maybe that was almost like kind of what you got to look for there. There were no red flags one way or another. And he turned out to be a great employee. But I think one of the things you got to look for in finding the right mindset is you got to have people that show up. And what I found over the years is that most people can keep up the facade for the first week. Very rare they can keep it up for the first month, So that's kind of the thing that I would go off of. Like, you basically got, your kind of your pillars of any employee, right? Does the employee show up on time? Right? Is the employee ready to work? Does the employee spend a lot of time on their phone? Does the employee ask questions? Like, these are all kind of basic things. Another thing I like to look for a lot is, does the employee let me know when something is wrong? Or they think that they've done something wrong. Like, these are all kind of important things. Do employees hide things? Usually you can find this stuff out in about the first month. Some of it you can see in the first week. But those are the things that I look for when I hire someone. But as far as like mindset goes, like mindset's something that like generally you're going to see. It's going to take a month, to see what kind of mindset people have. But usually you can tell when someone's a good employee just by the kind of the fire that they have. Do they smile when they work? Do they appear happy? Do they seem to really like what it is that they do? Those people generally end up being good employees. I've hired enough people at this point. You get a person that they'll show up late the first day. I've seen that. I've had people that like I'll have conversations with them like before, during basically the interview process where I'll say, hey, you know what, like you're going to start off making $15 an hour. Like if you learn, how to do these things, learn to cut things square, maybe learn to make a drawer box, I'll pay you $17 an hour. We'll work you up to where you're making 20, $22 an hour, and you can build a cabinet. Well, then, you'll get you up to $25 an hour, and then we work on from there. So I try and give people kind of goals to where I want them to be. And if they know nothing, like that's great. Just tell me you know nothing. And again, same thing, we'll just work you up. And once you learn these skills and you can do these things, if you get an employee who is eager to meet your goals, you got a winner. And that's kind of how I see it. But yeah, you find those kind of people, and those people you want to hang on to. So all the employees that I have working for me right now have worked for me a minimum of, I think, 5 years at this point. And I've been in business for eight or 9 years. We got a great crew. We got a lot of good tentpole employees, and they all have learned. They've all started off doing one thing and learned to do other things, and now they all do kind of multiple things, which is really nice. Makes my life a lot easier than it would otherwise be. So yeah, I don't know if that's really helpful as far as mindset, but you just want people that don't rock the boat as well. It's nice when you can hire an employee and he gels with the people, or most of the people within your company. And when you have a small company, my employees will kick an employee out before I will, which is kind of interesting. Like they'll let me and my wife know, like, no, this person's no good. No, not gonna happen. This guy's, if they don't trust a new employee, like there's anxiety there about working with that person, they can't stay, so I don't think that's helpful, guys, but that's kind of what I've seen over the years. Okay, Clayton Fernandez in here. It's only the people who are from the other states that get rich. I've been doing there for the past 3 years. I gotta say I'm starting to like it more than Portugal. Interesting. Hold on, let me read your comment one more time. Let's see, it's only the people who are from the other states that get rich. What are the other states? If you're from Portugal, Fernandez, what, elaborate on that a little bit in the comments if you would. I'm kind of curious exactly what you're saying there. Yeah, you have to elaborate there. But anyway, so I guess, are you from Portugal? Are you in Portugal? I mean, it doesn't sound like you are, but let us know. We'll continue that. It'd be great. We got freaking more people in here. So here, at least we got, what is this, Tanuki, you're from Switzerland. So we got South Africa in here. We got Switzerland. We got maybe Portugal. We got Denmark in here. We got America. That's pretty cool. I think that's awesome. Like, I really appreciate everyone being here. Okay. Man, we got a lot of freaking comments to go through. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to kind of rush through some of these. See, Tanuki. Yep. So hello from Switzerland. This is freaking awesome. What is this channel about? Okay. So this is about furniture making, painting, running a small business. So my name's Eric Wilk, and I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri, America. And we have a small furniture company. We do 500-ish pieces a year, and we send it all over America. We're very well known for our coating. We make a lot of boutique furniture, and it's a great little middle-class business. And that's what we talk about. We just talk about how anybody can do this. Again, I never graduated high school. I just worked my ass off in manufacturing. I took those skills and I tried to start several companies during the course of my life, and they've all failed. And finally, you've got one, my wife, who's a fantastic business person, started this company called the Resplendent Crow, painting furniture in her garage, and I helped her grow it into the company that it is today, where now we paint furniture, we deliver furniture all over America, we make more furniture than we bring in customer furniture. We also make our own hardware. We design it, and we have 2 manufacturers in India that make it for us, and we all sell that on the resplendentcrow.com, so you guys can, not expect anyone to buy anything, but you can go see what it is that we make and kind of what our company's about. And it's just it's a real person, right? It's a real company, and that's what I like to talk about. I feel like there's just too many people that are putting out content that's not, it's just too polished. Like everyone's trying to sell you something. They're trying to get you to watch some stupid ad about, BetterHelp or some VPN, something that none of us, I don't think give too much of a care about, to be quite honest with you. These are just real conversations with real people. That's kind of all it is. That's why I do it. I enjoy giving people kind of a different perspective on things. Okay, so we got, I like Tochi. Wow. Steve, okay, well, is that Bano? So great, glad you're here. Hit the like button, add the discussion, and yeah, I appreciate being here. Okay, so we've got, this is Tanuki. We have good cheese in Switzerland. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I was supposed to go to Switzerland. I used to work for Gulfstream Aerospace, and we had places all over the world. And we'd fly. I mean, there was all kinds of places that we'd fly. We'd have just all kinds of hangars for customers, and we have service centers. Gulfstream has service centers all over the place, and there's one in, of course, Switzerland, being that it's such a wealthy place, So yeah, but never got to be there. Beautiful. The pictures seem like it's a great place to be. Kind of like our California, I think, or like the South Island of New Zealand. Very similar in topography. So okay, let's see. We got motocross PK. All right, glad you're here. Let's see. Say 7 sausages sizzling in a saucepan. I can do that. No problem. I got no problems there. Okay. Let's see. Danny MD. Sorry, the dollar is only strong when we trust you. Boy, you aren't even joking. And that trust is slowly eroding. And that's something we got to fix here in the States. And another thing you got to understand is I'm not sure how it is in Denmark, but here in America, the people and the government, right? The United States and the people are there's more divergency between them than I think there's ever been. The people and the government do not represent each other very well here in America, and we got a lot of social unrest here, a lot of civil unrest here in America. There's a lot of pissed off people here. We have a government that is just out of control, whether that's starting wars, whether that's stealing our taxes, whether that's wasting our money on, just tons of superfluous garbage bullshit. I don't know how it is in Denmark or Switzerland or Portugal or South Africa, but people are starting to wake up here, and America's got to do a better job. If we're going to be the world's lone superpower, we got to if we want other countries to practice capitalism or democracy or all these kind of things, we got to be good stewards of that ourselves. And going over and doing regime changes all over the world by force is not a good way to do it, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. So I think we're moving in the right direction, but it's too early to tell, So yeah, if we would support other countries more and maybe be a little bit of a better neighbor to people and try and be helpful to countries that really need help, as opposed to places that we just want to have governments that are make it easier for us to get oil and resources and things like that. I think we'd be in better shape, But that's just me. Like I said, I love my country, and I think we're moving in the right direction. But it's a long road, guys. So I don't know how your countries are, but we got problems just like everybody else. Okay. Tadaki. First time I was in the U.S., the dollar was $1.20. As far as now, it's 79 cents. Very weak. Yeah, well, you're in Switzerland, man. You guys got a pretty well-run ship there, from what I hear, and everybody likes you guys. You guys are one of the most neutral countries in the world. And funny thing, I don't know too much about Switzerland, but I know that during World War II, you guys had the right idea. No one messed with Switzerland, which was kind of interesting, right? Kind of one of the reasons no one messes with America, I would imagine. But I don't know. I don't know much about that kind of stuff. Okay, Danny MD, see, Tanaki, Swiss cheese is fine, but they're nothing compared to France, Italy. Swiss, everyone's got their cheese of choice, And yeah, like, I don't know who makes the best cheese in the world, but like I said, I'm from Oregon, Corvallis, Oregon, and we have Tillamook Cheese Factory, and man, their ice cream is amazing, their cheese is fantastic. I've had a lot of cheeses, I used to love drinking wine, and we'd have all kinds of cheeses all the time. And I always gravitated towards Tillamook, But I think a lot of countries make freaking fantastic everything, So I don't think any one country is definitely the best. But I think another thing, one thing is about, probably about cheese specifically, but like food, like a lot of it's like kind of like what you have going around you, like the company you have, the memories you have associated with those things. So I would imagine that you could take a real shitty cheese, but if you're in a freaking awesome environment with a lot of good friends and some good wine or beers or whatever, I imagine that cheese is gonna be pretty awesome, and then it's gonna be linked up in your head about how amazing it is, But I don't know, whatever. That's maybe that's just how I look at it. So okay, let's see. Snack says I agree that the French and the Italians also have very good cheese. So. Yeah, that's good, man. I think the French are freaking awesome at a lot of things. We've got their cookware. They make this thing called Le Creuset. I don't know if you guys ever use Le Creuset. Like, I remember the first time I used that stuff. It's like this cast iron enameled cookware. Holy hell! Like the way that it holds the heat and the way that the heat is evenly distributed around the pan is something else. Like when you grew up, like I grew up pretty poor. And man, we had all this cheap cookware. And the first time I got to use some of that awesome cookware from France, like holy shit, no, that stuff was amazing. Okay, So we got Paul in here. Paul, hey, Peckerwood. Yes, the same thing to you, Paul. Hello, Peckerwood. Hit the like button, add the discussion. We always appreciate it. Let us know what you do and what you guys got going on this weekend. Okay, let's see. But nothing, that's harsh. I need a but nothing. What do you say? Let's see. Did I miss something? Let me go back here. For the U.S. was very weak. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe did I miss something? Anyway, let me know again, and I'll be happy to comment. Okay. See, you a Wood. Yes, I a Wood, huh? Yep, that's me. Okay. Let's see. He is here to say it. Okay. Okay. I don't know, Paul. I know what you're saying, and we got someone that has all the weird things. So is this Naya? So I don't know, Naya. Where are you from? Curious. Okay. See, Aunt Annie, maybe didn't taste your. Got it. Okay. Cool. So that's a separate conversation. I'm 52 and I've not worked in 4 years. Okay, Paul. Well, why is that? Is that my choice? I mean, hell. People stop working for all kinds of reasons. I'm kind of curious why you stopped working. What happened? Is it you got other things going on? Did you have an injury? Is it no work? Like based on where you live? Like I'm kind of curious. I've always been kind of a workaholic. I don't know why people stop working. It's something I can never see myself doing. But people do all kinds of things. So yeah, let us know what's going on there, Paul. Okay, let's see, based. Daddy D. See, I smoked a joint 11 years ago in a harbor next to a big ship called Howie, and said that I knew all the big wooden ships in the world from Cuba to Costa Rica. Wait, in Denmark. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. That must have been some joint, man. Holy hell. Let's see. Okay, I disagree. Life's about happiness. I don't need a house. Partner is okay. Loving partner is nice. Yeah, and that's interesting. We got a real problem in America, and Tanaki, this isn't to I'm not knocking your life, your choice, or whatever. One of the things that we kind of suffer from here in America is for about the last, I don't know, at least the last decade, they've really pushed this idea. I take it back. It's probably been a good 15 years. We've really pushed this idea of like 15, 20-minute cities. The idea that you're basically living in an apartment, right, in the city. You're close to work. You're close to Whole Foods. You're close to the dog park. You're close to the stadium, event areas, bars. We have really pushed that kind of culture here in America for a long time because they wanted everyone to go to college and they wanted everyone to work in offices and, again, work in the city and things like that. And I think while they were telling everyone to go do that, we had a lot of investor property. A lot of investors come in and buy up all the single-family homes. And all these single-family homes have led to people not being able to build things or tinker or anything like that because everyone started moving into apartments, right? Or they couldn't buy homes. So we have a massive culture now of people that just rent. Like I'm sure everyone's read about the American rental crisis. It used to be everyone owned a home. I mean, during Bill Clinton, I think we had something like 70% of people owned homes. And a lot of that's gone by the wayside. And I think, again, driving everyone to go to college and convincing everyone that it's going to be awesome to live in a high-rise apartment was going to be cool. And now no one knows how to make anything. And so now here in America, we got big problems with people not knowing how to work with their hands. And we got an epidemic of people who went to school, live in apartments, or they rent, that have no place to make anything. They don't know how to make anything. And so now there's a crisis and a shortage of people that know how to weld, people that know how to make furniture, know how to work on cars, know how to build cars, know how to do anything, work on air conditioners, do electrical work, all these kind of things. We got a real shortage of these people, and it's a real problem, So I always kind of I try and caution people against the apartment life just for that reason. Like if that's not your thing and you like that, great, but you need a place to work on things, You need a place to be able to, tinker and make things, work on your car. It's good to own a home because shit breaks, so you got to learn how to fix things, which causes you to learn how to do things in the real world, right? There's kind of the theoretical world and there's the applicable world and or the practical world, and we struggle with that here in America, So it's I always caution people against the whole apartment life thing if you could possibly help it. So. That's all said now. Okay. See. But yeah, you're 100% right, Tanaku. Life is obviously about happiness, and it's you share it with someone that you love is freaking awesome. Like finding people in your life that you like to be around, that you can actually stand to be around for more than a month or two. You got it made. So yeah. Okay, see more comments coming in here. We got more signal. Let's see. No debt should be your goal. So yeah, I did. I meant to do a talk about that here, like I don't know, like a week ago about this whole debt thing. And yeah, being out of debt is good. There's something to that, but like I'll tell you guys, like I've been debt free, and I felt nothing. Like it wasn't like this weight. Everyone says, oh, it's a weight off my shoulders, or it's they'll say, I guess the best thing, I'm never going back to being in debt. Like I literally felt nothing, like nothing. Like I was trying to think, how old was I? I would have been, let's see, I think I would have been 37, 38. Like not a debt, not a single, no cars, no houses, no nothing, 100% debt free. And I felt nothing. It just didn't mean anything, So it was very underwhelming when people said that, it was going to be this great feeling, And then first thing I did when I was actually 100% debt free is I went out and bought another car. That's what I felt like doing. I wasn't one of these people. They always tell you, "Oh, I'll always pay cash. I'm never going to go back into debt." It's like, I'm back into debt, and like doesn't matter to me. Like I'm going to work whether I'm debt free or I'm full of debt. Like I'm still going to work. I'm still going to buy things. I'm still going to do stuff. I think the debt thing is extremely overrated, but definitely not good to have too much debt, So, but don't take advice from me. I'm not like I said, I'm an idiot. Okay, let's see. Danny says I only use Linoleum and beeswax. What is that? Oh, you're talking lin oil. Okay, so like linseed oil and beeswax. Okay, yeah, that's cool. We use oak on big ships. Yeah, I was kind of curious. I figured you guys use some kind of an oak. I remember I did a tour of an old Spanish galleon that was really cool, and I think the entire ship was made out of oak, which is freaking. I mean, this thing was like, I forget how old it was. It was, I don't know, like 15, 16, 1700, something like that, like really old. I don't know how the hell they preserved that thing, but yeah, really cool. So interesting. But linseed oil and beeswax, I would have not guessed that for ships. Furniture, but yeah, for ships. Well, I guess back then, what did you have? That's just that's interesting, but very cool. See, pine for the mast. Wow, pine. So masts are made of pine. What's the diameter of those masts? We're talking like, what, like 2 foot, 24 inches? I guess you guys do everything in centimeters. Yeah, those things are gotta be freaking massive. But man, what a cool job, Danny. Like, I am super envious. Okay, here in Switzerland, houses are very expensive. But we do it solid. Most houses also have a bomb shelter. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, that's, I didn't know that. Yeah, Switzerland, from what I understand, is a very expensive place. It's I won't say the play place for rich people, but you got a lot of wealthy people there, at least from what I know. Like I said, I don't know much, but it seems like that's kind of what we have going on there. Kind of like our Aspen, Colorado. It's basically just for all rich people. But it happens. Like, what are you gonna do? It's a beautiful place from what I've seen. You guys have this beautiful mountains. Like I said, I don't know too much about it. So, but that's cool. I spent a bunch of time in New Zealand, and that's kind of like the bulk of my foreign experience. And just like you're saying in Switzerland, New Zealand was wildly expensive for what it was there, But again, it was out away from everything. I think that's probably why it was so dang expensive. But yeah, interesting. Okay, okay, bomb shelter. Yeah, Danny, they never had a war, but man, they were close. They were definitely in the thick of things. Let's see, we're preppers. We have bomb shelters all over the country. That is wild. Interesting. Here in Denmark, we have what we call navy oak, white oak planted to make ships. Long story. Interesting. So you guys have crops of trees that are meant specifically for the nautical industry. That is really wild. So I would imagine that stuff is fairly slow growing to make it nice and dense, I would imagine. Interesting. That's pretty cool. I didn't know there was such a thing. So I grew up in Oregon. Forestry is like literally part of our education when we grow up, and we're very particular about how they harvest all the individual areas within the state of Oregon. I'm sure it's the same thing with where you're at, but I didn't realize that they would plant crops specifically for like an industry. Like in Oregon, we would plant like tons of Doug fir. There's just like Doug fir was like the main thing there, but yeah, a lot of pine as well. But yeah, I didn't know that they would we would never. I didn't think we would plant something specifically for a particular industry, So that's fascinating stuff. Okay, more. Let's see, Sharky, we have let's see, ABC shelter in our house. Wow, that is so wild. We use it for storage. It's it's the law to have a shelter. That's crazy. So even today, Switzerland is constantly staying ready for the next kind of crazy war type event. That is something else. Wow, you guys are way more prepared than we are here in America. Um, we keep a lot of we have a lot of basement stories or underground stories in our houses, but they're for tornadoes. Because like where I live in the Midwest, it's Tornado Alley, and I forget what the season is. I think the season is like from April to October. We get tornadoes that come through this essentially like this big band within America that basically runs from about Texas way down south all the way up to Illinois, way up north. And yeah, you get these tornadoes, and you're supposed to have the shelter below ground so you can get out of the way of the tornado. So but yeah, you guys are worried about something a little more man-made. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Aren't this the basics for everyone, for anyone? Yeah, no, man. Like, no, we don't. America doesn't think about that kind of stuff. America has, like, I don't even know if it's the same anymore, but like, I grew up with like America is just the country that nobody messes with. And I've grown up my entire life this way. We've only been messed with twice in history that I know of. I mean, unless you want to go back to like the War of 1812, when the White House was burnt down. But like we've had Pearl Harbor was the one time we got really messed with, and we basically went and destroyed the world, and that basically built up America, and then everyone had to buy everything from America because we're the only people left. We decimated basically half the globe, and so people knew not to come mess with America. Well, fast forward to 2001, I'm sitting down playing my guitar in the morning at my girlfriend's house, and I see these planes, hitting these buildings off in New York, and I thought it was a movie. Like, I thought it was like a movie trailer, and that happened, and next thing you know, there goes America. Except going to Europe, now we're going to the Middle East, and we're just going to go fucking destroy everything over there. So America, like, our country doesn't live the way I think a lot of other people live. Because if you come here and you try and do that stuff, like, we're not just going to come after you and your family, we're going to come after your nation. And that's a very hard concept for people to understand. Like, if you live in Switzerland, Switzerland's not going to go take over the country next to them because, you talk shit to them like America would. Like, we're a very loose country with our own rules. And we don't take kindly to anybody coming onto our soil and messing with us. And that's that whole cowboy American mentality that I learned about when I was in New Zealand. People like to make fun of us. But I think what everyone's learning, especially if you're over in Europe right now, America is no longer going to defend everybody. Like, we're not into this, or at least we're a little less cavalier about our military and about paying for everyone's protection, which is what happened after World War II. And this I don't know if this is well known in other countries, but basically what America did after World War II is it protected all the trade routes. It created all these trade routes within the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean that made commerce super easy. And so we opened up all these trading routes with all of Europe and Asia, and I guess South America a little bit. But anyway, all these trade routes were the thing that America really did that allowed all this commerce to open up so that we could, put this thing together called the Marshall Plan, which rebuilt Europe. Like, we basically paid to rebuild Europe. And Europe bought all the stuff from America, which is how America really got rich. And then Europe was, back at it again, but we were always there, kind of behind everyone's shoulder saying, hey, you guys fuck around. America's going to come back here and we're going to do again to you what we did a decade ago, 20 years ago. But now we're kind of pulling back. There's a lot of talk here in America about us pulling out of NATO, which would be wild, I think, for people that are over in Europe. But like I said, times are changing, so I don't know. Like, we don't do bunkers here. We don't worry about people messing with us. Most Americans, and I think it's this way in Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken, but most Americans, we all have guns. We travel with guns in our cars. We have guns, multiple guns in our homes. Like, I think they say there's a gun behind every blade of grass or something like that. Like, America's you don't mess around with America. And America's job for a long time was to protect everybody else in a way. But I think some of that's ending. There's a lot of people here in America that are not happy And I don't know much about the politics of Switzerland, Tanaki, but like Europe especially, like we're kind of done with letting Europe tell us how we need to have socialized medicine here, and we need to give all this stuff to our citizens. Meanwhile, most countries around the world don't have militaries worth of shit compared to America. And it's not say that that's good or bad. I'm not passing judgment, but America's military is I think our military is bigger than like the next 10 or 12 militaries on Earth. And the reason we are so big, and no one likes to talk about this, is because we protect everybody else. Like we're the bully that keeps the world sane. And I think that's kind of coming to an end. So a lot of other countries are going to have to step up. You're going to have to pay for some military. You have to buy some planes. You're going to have to start making some shit and getting tough. And it's bomb shelters are one thing. Like I said, we just never had to deal with because we all got so many guns. We have so many planes, bombers, military. The technology we have is so much more advanced than everybody else because we just spend so much more money. So hopefully other countries will do some of this, and I think having strong countries makes everyone better. So anyway, makes people play well together. Okay, Danny, okay, let's see, more comments between you guys. Switzerland, you learn this skill first. That is freaking insane, Tanaki. I need to do some reading on Switzerland. Everything you're saying is kind of blowing my mind, to be quite honest with you. Very cool. When you're 16, you start your apprenticeship. That is so freaking crazy. Unreal. I'm envious. Okay, let's see. So now we got Clayton Fernandez in here. My dad is from Portugal. Mom is from Goya, India. Okay, cool. Yeah, Goya. Okay, interesting. Okay, that makes sense now. I live in Portugal. It was regarding Danny saying that people go to Goya just to get high and dance, and people who usually stay higher. Oh, okay, got it. I see what's going on there. Okay. Okay, well, we'll let you guys hash that one out. Okay, let's see. Then we've got Danny saying here, I said, no worries, I have no education. I was in the army, and then my mom's ex took me in, and I became a carpenter. Fantastic. Yeah, and it's, and that's the thing. Like, you don't have to have the perfect family life, the perfect set of skills, the perfect, education, all these kind of things. Like, shit happens. You figure out. The point is, and Danny would probably agree with this, just like you show up every day, you do the best job you can, you try and learn things, you volunteer for things, and that's really all you got to do. The people that are there at work every day when the day starts have the most opportunities to get the opportunities. And life is all about taking swings, right? Like, you're just going to take a lot of swings in your life, and most of them you're not going to hit nothing. But if you're there to be able to take the swing, you're going to hit more things, and those become opportunities, and those can lead into all kinds of things. And Danny, it's good that you got to serve your country in the army. I tried to go in the army right after 9/11. I wanted to go kill terrorists, and they put me through MEPS, and I was ready to go. I was going to be a light wheel mechanic and go fix Humvees, right? That which I probably would have died, to be quite honest with you. But when I was going to my physical, they saw a little bit of goofiness in my left knee, and so they asked me to do this thing called a duck walk. And I was doing that duck walk. They didn't like how I was duck walking. I couldn't do it very well because I had an ACL reconstruction when I was 18 or 19 years old. And they didn't like that, so they didn't let me go. They told me, go get your knee fixed, come back, and we'll take you. And I just never happened, So it's cool. You got to go serve your country. I really, really wish I would have been able to. I tried, and it just didn't happen. Clayton Fernandez. I know the people from the other states of Goya. Let's see. Sorry, states of India and not Goya. The locals from Goya don't do drugs or anything. Okay, well, need to get my wife up here. She needs to comment on this stuff. Let's see, Tanaki. Most people from Switzerland don't go to the university but get educated in a profession. They get paid a little for 3 or 4 years, but then they get a diploma and are ready to work. That's interesting. So one of the things I've always talked about that I thought would be really cool is I always thought that there needed to be an apprenticeship program or a trade program within companies. Like, let the companies do the training. Because I'm one of these people that believes that college is for smart people. Like, colleges absolutely have a use and a purpose, but we basically tried to tell people that you're not dumb, and if you go to college, guess what? You'll be smart. And truth is that most of us, we're not that bright, and that's okay. It just means we're not going to be scientists, right? We're not going to be doctors. We're going to be carpenters. We're going to go into the military. And man, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's funny because we have this like big class divide kind of thing that goes on here, and it's just wholly unnecessary. But we exacerbate it here in America by paying people to go to college. Again, not smart people. people who go to college, we tell them they got to make a bunch of money because they went to college, which is the most retarded thing I've ever heard. No business owner, if I had an idiot and a person with a master's degree, I'm going to pay them the same thing until they show me that they can do some work, right? You got to be able to make something. You got to be able to provide some value. It doesn't matter how educated you are. You could be the dumbest person on earth, and if you provide value, you're worth X amount of dollars. It almost has nothing to do with your education. It's what value do you provide? You know, and we've kind of forgotten that here in America. We're starting to learn it right now, though. A lot of these people that went to college, they're not very useful. You know, no one wants to hire them, and they're crying in their milk right now about not being able to make enough money to pay off their student loans. So we're getting ready to have that discussion here in America. But I always thought that businesses should be able to work with people. You know, say like kind of like Tanaki is saying, you have to. If you want to be you want to be a carpenter, you know, you should go to work for a carpenter company, right? And the government here in America should pay part of that salary, right? So if the base salary is $20 an hour, you know, the government should take 10 of that on, right? And then you train this person, could be for 6 months, could be a year, could be for 2 years. It sounds like in Switzerland, you guys are doing 3 to 4 years, whatever it might be, but help the company alleviate some of that burden, because really expensive employees, it's very difficult to hire idiots for a lot of money. It's not worth it. And we don't want to do it because they cause more problems than they're worth. But if the government would come in and help us, we could afford to train those people and take on a little more of that risk. And I really wish we'd do that here in America, but we don't. It's all about going to college. Like, that's the only avenue that government really helps people with here. Like, if you're poor and you have no ambitions to go to school, like, you just have to go to basically get a job. You know, if you grow up in a poor area where there's no opportunity, there's very few businesses to hire you, right? And poor people don't have cars, they don't have really good transportation. Their radius of opportunity is very small. But if they could partner with a company, you know, it would be easier for that person to get out of their area, you know, to go try out different jobs. And again, make it a little bit easier on the business to take that risk on people. And we would, you know, a lot of businesses would. But you know, when you got the salaries the way they are now, it's like you almost have to have someone with experience for what we have to pay people. And I don't know how that is in your guys' countries, but that's one of the things it's a real problem as a small business here in America. Okay, let's see, it's the same here in Denmark. Usually takes 4 years. I just got lucky, I guess. And I know I'm using hands 20. I love this. Yeah, you guys got some cool experiences. Okay, see, it was a friend joke. Yep, okay, blah, blah. Let's see, this is fine, Danny. No, she's brother. Good. Yeah, you guys got some great stuff going here. Okay, see, the mass for 100-footer is like 1.5 foot. Wow, that's big, man. Holy smokes. Okay, well, like I said, you got a cool profession, man. It's you got a YouTube channel, man. I'd kind of like to see what it is that you do. That's really cool. I love these YouTube channels where people kind of show what it is they do, especially to do something interesting like build boats or fix boats. Or hell, even work on houses is kind of fun, you know, and making furniture, like whatever. Like, some people like that stuff. Okay, so we got, what's this, Hajj Fars? Okay, see, what do burnt pizza, frozen food, and a pregnant woman have in common? Well, we got to know, man. We got to tell us the answer. Hit the like button. Let's see, it's grown on hills, so it's grown on hills, so it curves, and it's trimmed, so there is no knots. We lost our navy to the English, so we needed wood. It was done in the 70s and nobody used it. Wow, that is freaking crazy. When I get off here, I'm gonna get on Grok and I'm gonna Grok that and kind of see what that's all about. That blows my mind, man. That's really cool. I love learning new stuff. Like, that literally blows my mind. That is so cool. Very, very cool. Okay, so we got Batshit Crazy in here. Good to see you. Batshit is back. Hit the like button, add the discussion, Batshit, please. What's up? See, if you want to see a Howie Mask, something renovation, you forgot the name, but I know the movie is on YouTube. So Hawali, I think is how you're pronouncing that. So Hawali Mask. No, I'll tell you, I love boat stuff. Like, I'm fascinated by boats. I grew up on the water, and like I said, I've always wanted, like I said, like a 40, 50 footer trawler. I mean, even like a little yacht, you know, with a couple diesel motors in it. We have this thing here in America. It's called the Great Loop, and you can start, you know, here on the Mississippi River, and it literally goes all the way up to Canada, goes out to the Atlantic Ocean. You ride the Atlantic Ocean all the way down to New Orleans, and you come up the Mississippi River in New Orleans where it meets the Gulf there, and you come back up into Chicago or St. Louis, along here. And, it's really cool. It's supposed to take like 3 or 4 months for people to do it. I always thought it'd be a lot of fun to do that, but I don't know. It's just a little dream. So okay, song.ex is near hi. I like. Okay, good. Yes, we said hi to you. Glad you're here. All right. Let's see. Europe never told you do nothing. I served in Afghanistan for America. Only NATO country has ever asked for help. Right now, you're shitting on your allies. My country's so hard. I get it, man. Like I said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. The truth is, America pays for everything. Like and maybe we're propagandized. Like I don't know, but I mean, America has the money. We spend the money. We have the military. We have all of the oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. All of the what are all the freaking, like our CIA and stuff like that. Like we just have. Like we're hooked up with, Mossad and in Israel. Like we're just hooked up with everybody, and it is what it is, man. Like I'm not saying it's right. And again, I don't know anything, and I don't know much about the Afghanistan war. Like I said, I tried to go over there. Go over there. I'm sorry. Yeah, I tried to go over to Iraq was where I wanted to go. But yeah, it's just. I don't know exactly what happened over there, and I don't know all the answers. I know a lot of people that served over there, and nobody wanted to be there. Absolutely nobody. There was nobody here in America that thought we should be over there after about the first year or two. And we spent, I think, 21 years there. So there's a lot of people that are really pissed off about the amount of time we spent over there, and a lot of us think it was a major waste, just like Vietnam. And again, not to like everyone's service is important, and we always appreciate everyone's service. And it's the reason we get to live the way that we get to live is because of people that got to serve and people that did the time over there and did whatever they were asked to do. So I don't I try not to get in like arguments with people about that kind of stuff, but it's just like I said, it is what it is. So okay, helping America. Then America ever spent helping us? Yeah, maybe. Like I said, the only thing I heard about Denmark lately is I think we wanted to, we were going to buy your country, or no, it wasn't your country. I think it was Greenland. I think Denmark owns Greenland, and we were going to buy it or take it. Or we hear so much stuff over here in America. I don't know. I have no idea what's true. But there's no sense in arguing between the citizens, right? Like we're all kind of, none of the decisions are really up to us, or at least they're not up to me anyway. Maybe they're up to you. But like I said, my point is I think everyone should just be friends for the most part. It's like you guys do your thing, we'll do our thing, and if we ever get into trouble, maybe we'll help each other out. But the problem is that most of the time the enemy isn't really the enemy, and that's the thing that I think we all kind of struggle with. No one really knows who the enemy is, and every government kind of propagandizes its people into try and tell them who the enemy is when the real enemy isn't that. And again, like I said, I don't know. This isn't a politics kind of thing. It's just this is more about working with wood, painting, talking about small business, talking about, getting out of shitty situations and doing things and showing people that you can do it and talking about it and just kind of giving people a different person's perspective. And that's kind of all we talk about. But again, I appreciate everyone being in here, and I love all the back and forth with people. And war is a really tricky thing. It's very personal to people. And man, I get it. If you serve, man, I got nothing. Like I said, you know more than I do, and I'm gonna let you kind of control that discussion because I think you've seen more than I have. So I'm going to take your word for it, dude. But I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate all the service and all the words. So, okay, let's see. We have guns, but only for sports. Let's see, we're in the military. No guns for protection. It's very easy to get a gun if it's right. So Taki, I'm kind of curious, or Tanuki, what's the crime like over there? I wouldn't imagine there's a ton of crime in Switzerland, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Like in America, we got tons of crime. In fact, America's an interesting country. Like we almost pretend that crime doesn't exist in many ways, which is really weird. Part of why my discussion today was about Best Buy. It's an electronics store here in America, and the reason everything's locked up and the employees are not very kind is because that people are allowed to just go into these stores and steal stuff. And there's nobody to say no. Like no business is going to like hire security to stop people from stealing things because they're too afraid of being sued, right? We got too many lawyers in this country that are too afraid to let a security guard beat up a criminal, or let a security guard stop a criminal. Citizens can't really stop criminals, And again, like I said, if that were my business, like you think you're gonna come into my business and try and steal a piece of furniture from me? Like, no, I'm gonna fight you. Like, it's not gonna happen. You know, I think that's one of the big problems we have here in America right now with a lot of these businesses is that the people that run them didn't found them, right? It's not their name on the company. Their name has nothing to do with the company. No one knows who the people are that started these companies, and so no one really cares. Whereas if your name was on the company, you would have much more of an opinion about how it's treated, how other people treat your company, how your employees interact with people, the experience that people get in your company. A lot of that stuff's lost here in America, and it's still here for sure. But it's a real problem. You know, like you gotta enforce rules, and you have to hold people accountable, whether they're justified or not. Like everybody has to be held accountable to some degree, and we have a lot of problems with that in America. And I think we're starting to fix that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here, you know, in the next 3 or 4 years. You know, maybe we'll get some kind of civility back, and people will be able to put electronics back on store shelves and not have to lock everything up. You know, so kind of sad to be honest with you. Okay, good for you. War is no fun. Yeah, I get it, dude. Like I said, that's why. I said, you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, and I'm just going to go with what you say, because like I said, you served, I didn't, you know, so it's not, I'm not gonna try and say that I know everything, because man, I don't. So anyway, so I did my service, but Switzerland doesn't like war, but I guess we're ready. Yeah, sounds like you guys are, your culture's interesting over there. It's, I didn't know any of that stuff, you know, so man, I've learned a lot tonight, man. I'm learning about frickin' boats and wood that grows on hills and frickin' learned all about Switzerland, which is basically like, Switzerland's like just ready for war, basically. That's so interesting. Let's see here. Switzerland has a good gun policy. Angry guns are self-protection, should be okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like, so we have a lot of guns here, you know, and it seems to be the way to go. I think, you know, I think a lot of people should have guns. But again, if you misuse a gun, you got to be held accountable. And that's one of the things that we really struggle with here in America. We don't hold people accountable. We tend to look at you know, a person's criminal record. We want to know about their upbringing. We want to know what color they are. Like, we have all these things that can get you out of being held accountable for your actions, which is kind of weird. I don't know if it's like that in other countries, but we do a lot of that here in America. So Switzerland's very similar to man, that's freaking awesome. That's freaking awesome. Like I said, I live here in St. Louis, and I would easily carry a gun every day. Like, it's not that it's unsafe, but there's that perception that it is unsafe. And you hear all the stories. You know, St. Louis, I think, is one of like the top 5 murder capitals in America. You know, so it happens here. You know, so you definitely just gotta stay vigilant. You know, don't hang out way late at night in bad areas. But for the most part, you know, it's not too bad. See, I don't have a YouTube channel, but Willie's YouTube channel is the closest you can get to me. I mean, most videos. Okay, well, cool. I'll check it out. Willie's. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out. I think that's really cool. Yeah, I've never met someone that does what you do. So at least not on here. So that's really cool. Okay, same in Denmark. Oh, we don't need a gun. Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, actually, U.S. doesn't have the money, but luckily for Japan, China, and some countries in Europe, he gets money and do whatever you want. No, and you're actually 100% right. Like, I don't disagree. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about the petrodollar. Like, because we're the world's reserve currency, because we actually have the most stable place to put the world's money, which you guys can disagree with me, but our economy says otherwise. Everyone puts their money here in America, but like you guys were saying earlier, the value of the dollar has come down. People don't trust America as much as they used to. I don't know why that is, but my guess is that has something to do with the way that we spend money. Some of our bellicose war policies may not help. But yeah, times are changing, you know, so we'll see how long America has the money. Because yeah, I mean, you're right, that we get it from Japan, we get it from China, we probably get a lot from Europe. It's anyone that'll buy our bonds, basically. Let's see here. Clayton Fernandez. See, why did the taxidermist break up with their partner? Because they just couldn't deal with all the stuff feelings. Yeah. All right. Hit the like button for that joke. Okay, see, I lost the point. Oh, it's a nice thing to say. Let's see. Switzerland is super safe. Name is Denmark. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are super safe. It sounds like a lot of people talk about your countries too. When they talk about how places like America should be, they will often reference places like Denmark and Switzerland. I mean, it's very common here, and that's good. I mean, it means you guys are doing something right, you know. So I think that's fantastic. But hopefully things never pop off around the world, because we're all probably going to need each other. Okay, see, I'm Swiss, so it's nice. Da, 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 so I can ask for background. Let's see, Switzerland is very okay. Because we have. Oh my God, I actually made it through all the comments. Holy smokes, that only took me 90 minutes. Wow. I appreciate all the conversation tonight, guys. Like I said, we're at 90 minutes, so I probably got to get back to wallpaper the walls. I finished my beer, but is it Tanaki? I hope I pronounced your name right. I'm sure that I'm not. And Danny, again, guys, like, I really appreciate your conversations and let me know about Switzerland and Denmark, and listen to the loud talking American, and it's great conversation. I learned a lot about Switzerland. I learned a lot about boats and how you guys do things in Denmark. And it's good to talk to people and learn about the things that they've done, especially when you're in another country. Like, the perspectives are different. The things that we all do, I think it's a little bit different, and it's really cool, So I hope you guys come back for more conversations. And like I said, I try and do a talk once a day. I try and show people what's in my shop on Fridays. I did it this Friday. It was just a crappy day. I'll probably do it tomorrow or Sunday. And we show people all the pretty furniture that we paint and all the furniture that I'm making, things that went well at the company, things that didn't go well at the company. And we just talk about all kinds of things, the furniture industry. And it's a good way to just kind of see what it is that we do. And that's kind of what this channel is about. We're a real company, and I like to show people that. We don't just sit here and talk about stuff. I actually like to show people what it is we do. But again, you guys can go to resplendentcrow.com, modernwoodrunner.com, and see what it is we do. You can also go to the resplendenthome.com if you want to read about some of the furniture and blog type stuff. It's all just furniture related. That's all it is. There's nothing, not trying to sell anybody anything. It's just, it's a real company. These are real people. And we have real products made right here in America. We use American materials, which is a big thing for small businesses here. And we try and do it as best we can. And it's a tough way to make a living, but man, it's worth it. And I wouldn't do anything else. So anyway, I hope everyone has a fantastic night. And we got, last comment here. Let's read. We got Robin Sons in here. Robin Son, glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming in. Kind of got to the end of the conversation today. Let's see. If it makes you happy, send me money, help and so on. I know, man. People love to ask for money. So yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give you money. Yes, you Americans are allowed. Danny, I get it, man. I've heard that when I was in New Zealand, man. Holy smokes, I get it. So anyway, you guys are here. I appreciate you spending the time. And like I said, I'd love to get to Denmark someday. And boy, I would love to go to Switzerland someday. You guys got some beautiful places there, beautiful countries, and beautiful people. So anyway, everyone have a great night, and we'll do this again tomorrow.